Could I have been more wrong? I really don't think so. I mean, what a day. The insanity of the Screen Actors Guild nominations, add on top of that the Directors Guild Association nominations. My head has been overwhelmed and my overthinking ADHD brain is on fire. But man, I had to talk to you guys about it because I'm sure you're all flipping out just like I am. I mean, can you believe that? I had to ask myself, am I that out of touch with what SAG chooses? Were the Golden Globes just playing one big practical joke on all of us? Is SAG playing a joke on all of us? Like, did they all get together, all like 125,000 to 139,000 of them and be like, dude, let's get the whole film world like all fired up, right? I don't know, but if either one of those groups is doing it, props to them because it worked, man. Like, I still cannot get over some of these nominations. And then I keep asking myself, what does this mean for my Oscar predictions? And I'm going to be honest with you guys, like I always am. This is going to impact some of my Oscar decisions. Not my lockdown ones, guys. I refuse to change those, but I definitely know that it is going to impact some. And it's for sure impacting my Critics' Choice prediction. So kind of glad I haven't released that one yet. As I saw these nominations come in today at 9:30, at 3 o'clock, everything just boom, 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 boom. I had to ask myself, does my entire life and world need to be reevaluated? Do I have to give up on my love for Demi Moore? No. No, no, no. I cannot do it. I will not do it. Listen to me. Like, she's here. She's still in it. But you know what, man? The substance took a hit today. And I don't know what that's all about. I don't know if SAG's trying to, like, prove to themselves, like, you know what, guys? We told you the film world doesn't love body horror. Whatever it is, it's crazy. And I also told you guys, there could be a possibility with Angelina Jolie that I wake up this morning with egg on my face and my foot in my mouth, and I did. I don't know. I still, though, I get it. Now, I mean, I kind of understand maybe why those 30% of people didn't choose her. I mean, not entirely. I think I gave very valid reasons last night why she should have gotten this nomination, but I'm going to tell you guys, I don't want you to give up on her when it comes to an Oscar nomination. If you recall my video from last night, and if you haven't watched it yet, I'll link it up in here. Do we remember Kristen Stewart from Spencer in the 2022 award season? She didn't get the BAFTA nomination. I still haven't had time to look up if she made the long list because we know Jolie didn't. But she missed SAG, and yet she still went on to get an Oscar nomination. So don't give up on Jolie. I think she's still in it. Maybe not to win it, but I definitely think she's in it to get a nomination. When you guys saw these nominations today, especially SAG, right? Like, let's start with talking about SAG. I got to get my mind focused. My ADHD brain is like all over and wants to talk to you about everything. But when you looked at the SAG nominations, did you ask yourself, like I did, what in the world is SAG looking at? What in the heck are they doing? I mean, if you guys know the answers to these questions or somebody wants to give me some insight, I would appreciate you putting it in comments because I am utterly confused. I think our best way to look at all this craziness is just to delve into each category one by one by one. We're also going to do my favorite part of any nomination ceremony, guys, surprises and snubs. But I want you to hold on to the end of this video because after we look at both SAG and Directors Guild Association, I'm going to tell you guys what these two nominations mean for the Oscars when you look at the statistical history of what's in play. I know statistics might not have been your favorite class. I'm kind of a math geek and yeah, no, that's just me, loving my numbers. So let's dig into it. First, we're going to start out with Stunt Ensemble. Okay, I got 4 out of 5 of my top 5 picks right. If you would have given me 8 picks to choose 5, I would have gotten 5 out of 5, right? So let's just look at them here as we go. We had Deadpool and Wolverine, which was my 6th choice. Dune 2, which I chose. The Fall Guy, which hope you guys watched that Emily Blunt, Ryan Gosling monologue, because if you didn't, I'm going to put it in the description below in this episode too, because you know what? I rewatched it last night and it just makes me laugh, but okay, I digress. Gladiator 2, I chose that one. That one got on there, and of course, Wicked. Given, you know, the one change up between my 5 and 6, because my number 5 I had Furioso, a Mad Max saga. I really did think that because they got snubbed on all the Oscar shortlists that SAG would honor them. They didn't. I still predict Wicked to be my winner in this category. Cast ensemble, I definitely overthought this one. So again, my ADHD brain gets in my way. But I mean, I ended up with 3 of 5. It's just really, I should have thought about putting a complete unknown higher than number 7. I should have put them in. And, you know, honestly, I didn't see Anora sneaking in that far up. I mean, Anora was my number 8 choice. So if you gave me 8 choices for my 5 nominations, I would have gotten all 5, but yeah, unfortunately, I got 3. So the nominees in Cast Ensemble were Anora, that was my number 8 pick, Complete Unknown, that was my number 7 pick, Conclave, which to me is still super deserving of that ensemble nomination. Totally, completely agree with that. Amelia Perez, that one was also on my list, and then Wicked made it. Wicked was my number 1 for Cast Ensemble. At this moment, I'm still going to leave it as my prediction, but that might change given stats and other things I look at as we move through the award season. So for now, we'll keep that one as my number 1. So no movement in that space. But, you know, did you guys have any surprises? Were you guys smarter than me and put, you know, Complete Unknown up there? Because, I mean, Chalamet, Edward Norton, Monica Barbaro, and Elle Fanning. So, I mean, come on. And as we go further and we get into the acting categories, you're going to see 3 of those 4 names I mentioned were nominated for SAG Awards, which I cannot believe. Which means, if you're keeping count, a Complete Unknown ended up with 4 nominations. So, just not what I predicted at all for that picture. But, hey, bad on my part. I'm learning. Next category we're going to get into is the actor in a supporting role. Holy shit, did I screw up on this one. And when I say screw up, I mean, I probably could have had my cats pick better than that. Yeah, I know. I don't need you guys harassing me saying that you did pick better. Okay, I get it. So this is how bad my picks were. So, I mean, when you think about it, 2 out of 5. But if you would have given me 8 picks, I would have gotten 4. So does that count? Does that mean I'm somewhat smart? I don't know. Let's go through the nominations and see where I ended up. Let's go ahead and take a look at these nominations. Jonathan Bailey for Wicked. I mean, guys, I said the Wicked cast was great, and Jonathan Bailey as Fiyero does a fabulous job. And I expected Wicked to do well. Like, I had it getting 4 nominations. I did not see it getting 5. So I did understand that it was probably going to be the top of all the films, but yeah, did not see Jonathan Bailey coming. So he wasn't even on my 8 list. Then let's look at next on the list, Yuri Bosovol. Like, yes, he got the Golden Globe nominations. I just didn't know that SAG would react to Anora like they did, especially after being shut out of the Golden Globes. But I guess I should have figured the way the voting eligibility timeframes lined up, like nobody knew Anora was getting snubbed because Anora ended up with 4 nominations for SAG. So that's very good. And so Anora is definitely on their comeback up. All I'm saying is Anora did great at today's SAG nominations. Okay, so after Borsavo, we have Culkin. Duh. Like, I still believe in Culkin sweeping the award season. There's all that talk out there right now about how if a film doesn't end up getting, like, Best Picture nominations and being out there, which A Real Pain isn't getting a lot of traction when it comes to Best Picture, which is unfortunate. And, I mean, some people have it on their Best Picture Oscar list, but it's, like, right down at, like, number 10. Well, okay, need we remember Christopher Plummer? Like, I get he was older and people wanted to honor him, but I still disagree that you just give somebody an award because of their age and you're honoring their, like, past career, because then just give them one of those special lifetime awards. But, you know, Christopher Plummer, the movie Beginners in 2012, he won that for Best Actor in a Lead Role, and that movie had no other nominations but Christopher Plummer. So it can happen. And again, I don't know that I'm going to ixnay out A Real Pain from Best Original Screenplay. Like, that's not completely dead for my Oscar list. So you had Culkin in there. I think Culkin's going to end up winning this. And then you have Edward Norton, who I predicted, and Jeremy Strong. And if you guys remember, like, I was really toying with, like, putting, you know, Jeremy Strong on my bubble instead of Stanley Tucci, but then I was like, oh, people love Tucci. He's kind of, you know, not like Hollywood royalty like Isabella Rossellini is, but I was like, everybody loves Tucci. But I doubted myself, and I kept saying, like, you know what, this is, you know, radio, TV, movie voters. I should have trusted my gut, right? Like, TV and movie people, well, TV more than anything, love Culkin. They love Strong from Succession, and they're willing to honor it. I also should not have been scared from the movie The Apprentice, because you know what? People are liking The Apprentice. Interesting note, though, they gave it to Jeremy Strong, and they did not give Sebastian Stan any nomination for The Apprentice. So are they scared of Donald Trump, and they're willing to give, like, the role that Jeremy Strong plays for Ray Cohen as potential Oscar nominee, and they're scared to, like, honor Stan in that role of Trump because of, well, how kind of out there Trump can be at times? I mean, I don't know. Maybe that was a consideration. But Jeremy Strong is my 7th pick. He should have been my 6th at least at a minimum, but I screwed that one up. So, yeah, worst category if you only gave me 5 picks. Actress in a supporting role. You guys, like, I'm happy, but I'm also flabbergasted. And, I mean, 3 out of 5 picks might sound good to some people, but here's the thing. Even if you would have given me all 8 of my picks, I still would have only ended up with 3 out of 5. Yeah, I did not see these 2 coming. One of them I should have seen. The other one, no flippin' way. And anybody who actually did pick them, I give you total props, and let me know. Let me know what it is you saw in Jamie Lee Curtis's performance that made you put her on the list. Because, I mean, I thought she was good, and I just didn't see that coming. You know what? We should have probably figured. Her popularity is on the rise. Jamie Lee Curtis has proven to the world that she is more than just the Hollywood queen. I mean, her Oscar star performance in Everything Everywhere All at Once when she won the Oscar in 2023, and just the way she is, you know, so open and so vocal. Her love for her family, the way she supports other women. I mean, you're always seeing her out there on, you know, her Instagram, Twitter, everything, you know, supporting women and being there. And she just recently started a production company. I think I read somewhere that her production company is making a movie about Susan Powers' life, like a little biography thing. You know, that's the woman who's like, stop the insanity. Yep, you remember her. And it was funny because I think in the article I read, Jamie Lee Curtis was like, oh, that's totally a role that back in the day I would have started. I don't know if that was just because of the short hair and whatever and the body type, but it totally would have been a role Jamie Lee Curtis would have starred in. But, I mean, so got that one completely wrong. Monica Barbero, got that one wrong. I did not. I mean, even had you given me like 15 picks, well, maybe 15, I would have put it on there because there's only so many out there. But, yeah, didn't see that one coming. And, of course, the next 3 I got right. Finally, a group does not snub Danielle Deadwyler. Thank you, SAG. Thank you. Despite all the insanity that you might have caused us today, you did a good thing. You put Danielle Deadwyler in as a nominee. Much appreciated for that. So, then you also have, of course, Ariana Grande for Wicked and Zoe Saldana for Amelia Perez. I think we're going to continue to see Grande and Saldana continuing to battle it out. I do think when it comes to Screen Actors Guild, right now, my edge is for Grande. I'm still believing in, you know, hashtag Grande Oscar win, but when it comes to SAG, I think the actors are torn between these 2 women. I think that Saldana just has that history and that career that they want to honor her. So, right now, I'm sticking with Grande, but again, we're still a long ways out from the actual ceremony. So, not my best category, but you know what? It made me happy. It's good to see other names getting out there. The actor in a lead role category, I felt pretty good about. Like, I really honestly believed my 5 would be in there. And I should have, again, done my own homework. As much as I research, sometimes things get out of my mind and I forget about things, but I did have Sebastian Stan in there for A Different Man, and part of why I put him in there for A Different Man and not The Apprentice was because I thought people didn't like The Apprentice, and I thought, well, if the Globes voted for Stan, maybe there's, you know, all those actors out there that are going to vote for Stan in this movie. But again, you had the Golden Globes, which are roughly, you know, like 300 some odd voters. Here you've got like, you know, over 130 or approximately that thousand. So, you know what? They didn't put him in here. These 5 gentlemen that are now in were on my list if you give me 8. If you just put it down to my 5, I did have 4 or 5, so pretty good for me, I feel like. This could be potentially, though, our Oscar 5 that make it to the nominations. You know, we're T-minus 9 days away from Oscar noms. I'm not quite certain yet to lock down my nominations, but right now I would say I'm probably 95% sure that these are the ones I'm going to put in there, right? We got Adrian Brody for The Brutalist, who I still think is going to sweep award season. Okay, then we had Timothy Chalamet in there for A Complete Unknown. The one that was my number 8 pick that again, he won the National Board of Review. He won a ton of things in the film festival, but we haven't been getting much talk lately, and that's for Daniel Craig and Queer. But people love it. I mean, it's doing well, and if you think about the awards that Craig has won and been nominated for, right? He's on the BAFTA long list. He got a Critics' Choice nomination, which he still could win. I mean, that ceremony is on Sunday. He was nominated for the Golden Globes, so I probably shouldn't have discounted him as much as I did. So, bad on my part. Coleman Domingo got nominated here. He was Sing Sing's one and only nomination for the SAG, similar to what happened at the Golden Globes, but at least he got in, and I do think, like I said, he's going to secure the Oscar nomination. And then we round out that list with Ray Fiennes from Conclave. So, like I said, 95% sure this is going to be my 5 for the Oscar nominations. Actress in a leading role. This category blew my mind. And if you're like me and you slowly like just read it in alphabetical order, because that's kind of like the way I like to do it, to see like, okay, where are my people standing? And that's how I always know that when Deadweiler gets screwed, because when you all of a sudden jump over it and you're all the way on to Grande, you're like, oh, what happened to the D's in there? And this situation started out, bam, Anderson, Pamela, Last Showgirl. What? I mean, holy shit. And you know what, guys? If you saw her at the Globes, like, does she not look more radiant now in her age and aging gracefully than she ever did on Baywatch? Well, I mean, maybe not let go that far, but it's natural beauty. And I love what she's done with herself. I love how she has just, like, brought herself back and said, you know what? Enough of what the world thinks of me. I'm going to do what I want to do. Similar to Demi Moore. Like, this year's award season is showing powerful older women who are saying, screw you. I'm going to do what I want to do. And then people are like, you know what, girl? I see you. I see you. I recognize it. And good job. And you know what? I don't know that this translates into the Oscars, but given the fact that she has been nominated for a Golden Globe, and, you know, now she's nominated for a SAG, I think we're going to be seeing a little more of Pamela Anderson maybe coming up in some more independent movies. So props to her on getting that nomination. It was also kind of funny to me because as I thought about it when I saw her name, I'm like, man, I remember when I saw her name come up for the Golden Globes and how excited I was because, like, I literally picked her to win in my initial predictions video. But, you know, then I had to have a little dose of reality. But you know what? I was happy to see it. So, you know, it does bring joy to my face. Like, I'm still happy about it. I mean, I might have only gotten 4 out of 5 in this category, but you know what? Dang, it feels good. So, you know, cool, man. I'm willing to take the L in this one. The next 4 are definitely, you know, lockdowns for me, and I'm pretty sure they're everyone's lockdown, except for the fact that I actually looked somewhere, and people were leaving Carla Sofia Gascon off. Like, are you serious? I don't care how much film Twitter hates that role and how judgy they might be about, you know, the first transgendered actress and all that, but, like, give me a break. To leave her off and not think she's going to get the Oscar nomination, you're crazy. Like, crazier than the SAG voters are. Like, let's be real. But, I mean, I think everybody has these 4, or at least a majority do. You got Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, right? You got Carla Sofia Gascon for Amelia Perez. You have Mikey Madison for Honora. And then you have my love, Demi Moore. And I still got to stick with Moore in this win. I don't care how much Honora's on the comeback trail. I just think that Moore's role, like I said last night, I won't reiterate it, is more powerful. Okay. So that is all the categories. So I scored 20 out of 30 if you only gave me my 5 picks. So, you know, 67%. Not bad. Not too shabby. If you gave me 8 picks, I mean, then I'm doing like 26 out of 30. So then like I'm batting like 87%. Well, that 87% actually isn't a batting average. God, my cousins who are sports junkies would be so disappointed in me for not knowing what an RBI percentage is. Okay, I digress, but let's get into my favorite part, which is surprises and snubs. And we're going to talk about snubs first because I'm still just so angry. As much as I'm okay that I took the L for Pamela Anderson, I still just can't understand the rationale of it all. Like, They snubbed Angelina Jolie. They did. I mean, I don't understand it. Like, after my whole long rant last night where I went on and on about all these reasons why SAG was going to nominate her and how crazy I thought that 30% of people left her off. I'm so sorry again, guys, that I got so on my rant last night that I forgot to talk about 5, 6, 7, 8 of my lead actress choices. I mean, number 5 was Gascon. Number 6 was Nicole Kidman. And number 7, I did have Pamela Anderson. So unlike a lot of other people, I did see her as a potential. I mean, I consider 7 on the bubble. I probably obviously should have moved her up, but I thought Kidman would have stood out above it. But yeah, and then Kate Winslet was my 8. But I apologize again, guys, that I got on that totally long rant. But I can't believe it still. Like, they did snub her. But I have to go back to, they snubbed Kristen Stewart for her role in Spencer and still went on to get the Oscar. So I'm still holding out hope. So Pamela Anderson, I am happy for you, but my girl got snubbed. But I hope you're okay, Pamela Anderson, when you don't get the Oscar nom and Angelina does. So a couple other big snubs in there, gang, were Denzel Washington. Like, it's Denzel.
Oh, you motherfuckers. You think you can do this to me? You motherfuckers!
I can't believe they snubbed Denzel. I mean, I guess maybe I kind of can see it because maybe they're just over Denzel, but Guy Pearce in The Brutalist, like, that is insane. Which goes to my next snub, The Brutalist. They got 1 nomination, gang, just 1. I mean, what does that say? After they were riding this high from the Golden Globes and Nora bombed, well, now they flipped. And just last night I said how they're going head to head. Well, maybe this is what this award season's going to do. Like, maybe one body recognizes the one and then says, nope, I don't really like you. And then the other one's like, oh, I much prefer a Nora at, like, well, roughly, what is it, hour 45 minutes versus 3.5 hours. And then another body is like, you know what? I don't care that it's 3.5 hours. It's pure magic. It's pure joy. But yeah, I mean, Felicity Jones for The Brutalist was a long shot, but Guy Pearce, to me, was not a long shot. I mean, I had him being number 2 and, you know, being the only one who would come close to getting to Culkin. So, I don't know. What does that say? Because, yeah, The Brutalist didn't get Ensemble nomination. Did put both Saturday Night and Sing Sing in for Cast Ensemble. I did say, like, I would be lucky if one of them got in. Neither of them got in, so dead. Rest in peace, Sing Sing. Rest in peace, Saturday Night. The only thing at most either one of them has coming. Well, Saturday Night, you got nothing coming when it comes to the Oscars. Sing Sing, you got Domingo. Like, that's it. Other than that, you are done. I mean, Clarence Macklin, you better appreciate those early award wins you got because you're just getting snubbed and snubbed and snubbed, and it's not looking like any sort of comeback for you. 2 of my really big surprises, though, in these categories definitely had to be Jonathan Bailey for Fiyero. Like I said, I mean, I know the cast of Wicked is excellent. All of them do a great job. They all work very well together, but holy cow, Jonathan Bailey getting in there. And, you know, again, SAG, you guys loved Wicked. You gave it 5 nominations, so let's see how many wins it ends up getting. I mean, could this be the sweeper? Could it get all 5? I don't know if I'd go that far, but definitely Bailey was a surprise, and then The Last Showgirl. I mean, just The Last Showgirl showing up at all in these nominations, let alone getting 2 nominations. And it made me think about how last year when I wanted to watch Nyad over Thanksgiving with my dad, and he's like, I'm not watching Nyad. And I was like, Dad, you're going to want to watch it because every year you do what me and the aunts and my mom do, except you do it on your own. You watch all of the movies that are nominated in, you know, a matter of a weekend or a couple weeks. And he was like, no, it's not going to be in there, Lisa. Like, hope you enjoyed watching it, but it's not going to be there. And what happened? Nyad was getting nominated. So could The Last Showgirl be this year's Nyad? It's looking like it. Now that we've gotten my reactions to the SAG nominations, let's go into the Directors Guild associations. And again, we're going to talk about both categories. Director of a first-time feature film, director of a feature film, and then we are going to talk about snubs and surprises because there were snubs and surprises in this category. And I didn't do half bad. 70%, I got 7 out of 10 right. Even if you would have given me all 8 of my choices, I still wouldn't have done better than 7 out of 10. If we look at Best Director for a first-time feature film, I got 3 out of 5 right. Even if you would have given me my 8 picks, I wouldn't have gotten any more than 3 right. So let's just go through them like they did in alphabetical order. Palal Kapadi, I got her. All We Imagine Is Light. She got nominated for the Golden Globe, and so I really did see her getting this, and so props for that. And you know what? I am glad that they gave it to her, because sometimes SAG, they're not very international. Like, they don't usually honor international films or actors or directors or anything like that. So it's good to see they're keeping that role with Pallel going on, right? Then you had Megan Park for My Old Ass. Okay. That's an Amazon MGM Studios film, and it's funny, but for some odd reason, like, never was a consideration of mine to put Megan Park in there for Best Director. It's really a story of how an 18-year-old girl goes out on, I think it's a camping trip if I remember right, and goes on like a mushroom trip, you know, and she basically ends up talking to like her 39-year-old self, and her 39-year-old self is trying to tell her younger self, and it's kind of one of those things like we all wish we would have had an older self telling our younger self not to be stupid in things, but probably our younger self wouldn't have listened anyway. So funny movie, just did not put together that she would have gotten the nomination. So happy to see, you know, someone like that getting the nomination. And you have Ramel Ross for Nickel Boys. No shock there. I still think that even the other 4 directors on this list know they're not beating him. I mean, here's a guy who was talked about for being nominated for an Oscar for Best Director. So yeah, he's going to win First Feature Film. But the next one actually kind of surprised me. And I'm going to have to read his name here, guys, or I'm going to screw it up. Halvdan Olmen Tandal for the movie Armand. Okay, so this is a Norwegian film, and I think it actually is, like, all of it is spoken in Norwegian, and so you'd have to read the English subtitles, which I don't mind subtitles at all, but it sounds really good. It's like a psychological type thriller, so I want to see it now. And, you know, again, good job, SAG, for, like, not just honoring one international director, you honored 2, so that's great. And then rounding up the noms is Sean Wang, who was nominated for the documentary short film that I love from last year with the 2 grandmas, but yep, he got in for his film Dee Dee. So good to see it there. I did not do well there, so whatever, that's fine. Now as we move on to director in a feature film, again, I think that the 4 of the 5, oh, there's my cat, probably here to yell at me about something, so when you look at the directors, I think that 4 of these 5 are pretty much everyone's locked down. They're going into the Oscars to get nominated. I mean, I know that these 4 are definitely locked down for me when it comes to the Oscars. I would be surprised if people don't have these 4 on their list. I mean, if you don't, I would love to hear why. Put it in comments, because these 4 have pretty much been locked down for me the entire time. I'll tell you which ones they are. And then this 5th one that got on the list, dude, didn't see him coming, was not on my list of 8, would not have been on my list of even 12. So let's go through the list in alphabetical order, and I'll tell you where we're at. So you have Jacques Audiard, Amelia Perez. We've got Sean Baker for Anora, Edward Berger for Conclave, Brady Corbet for The Brutalist. And then I had John Chu in there for Wicked, but that didn't happen, right? They put James Mangold in for A Complete Unknown. This one completely blew my mind. So I mean, let's just go into, now that we've talked about the 5, my surprises and snubs. Surprises, James Mangold for A Complete Unknown. Like, where did this even come from? Like, I know people love A Complete Unknown. I haven't seen it yet. I mean, I've heard, like I've said in a couple of these videos, I've heard nothing but good things since it's come out. The early releases all talked about it well, but everything that everyone said is, it's a great story. It's a good music biop piece. Like, it tells the story of Bob Dylan. Timothée Chalamet is good in it. You know, you got Fanning, you got Barbero, you've got Edward Norton playing, you know, Pete Seeger. Like, it's a good story. But never once have I ever heard anyone talk about how great the directing is. So I did not see this one coming. So that was a surprise. My other surprise had to be the nomination for first time director Tandal for Armand. Like, again, haven't seen the movie, sounds great, but yeah, even everything, like when I did research, that one never came up for me. Again, I'm not like a person who gets to attend TIFF and all those film festivals, but you know what? That one was a surprise to me. Looking back at my nominees, I shouldn't have probably put Ellen Kurz in there for Lee. She's not an international director, so that's not it, but the film is just performing better internationally than it is domestically. I guess there was just some part of me that thought that Kate Winslet's star power and, you know, the Golden Globe nominations, the BAFTA long list, which, I mean, I know I haven't given you my BAFTA like shortlist or what you call it, the nominees. But I mean, Kate's going to make it. Like, she's going to get a nomination for a BAFTA. But yeah, so I mean, that wasn't a surprise nor a snub. I guess maybe it was more just of a duh, Lisa kind of moment. The DGA snubbing John M. Chu doesn't completely shock me, I guess, because I said right away in my Wicked review that directors can be kind of snobby, and they probably weren't going to nominate John Chu because of his previous works. I mean, I even literally have a section in my Wicked review where I talk about reasons why he probably won't get the director nomination. But given the history of DGA winners and Oscar winners, I thought they might put him in, so I was surprised they snubbed him. And then the other big surprise was Malcolm Washington for The Piano Lesson. I mean, I guess you snubbed Denzel for his acting role, so go ahead and snub his kid for directing.
Oh, you motherfuckers.
But I mean, The Piano Lesson is a great film, so I guess maybe they were like, oh, well, we can't give The Piano Lesson too much stuff. We don't want him to get too comfortable with things, so we'll give you Deadweiler, but we're not going to give you Washington. I mean, whatever. The other snub I want to call out for director is the fact that Denis Villeneuve did not make the list, okay? He made the list for Dune Part 1. He didn't win it. He didn't make the list for Dune Part 2. He didn't get the Oscar nomination for Dune Part 1. So guess what, Denis? You are dead. You are not getting the Oscar nomination for Best Director. Your chances are over. So, Josh Brolin, I guess you're going to have to make a decision. Are you actually going to retire from acting because Denis did not get his Oscar nomination? I don't know. I guess we'll see. I told you guys to stay till the end because we talk about stats. And you know what? These are some interesting stats, and it's making my picking who's going to win Best Picture much more difficult. And this is one of the first years I can remember since, I mean, as long as my mind can remember, and I have a pretty good memory, that there has been no clear frontrunner thus far. I mean, we've had the Golden Globes already, we've had Critics' Choice nominations, we've had all those film festivals, and yet I still cannot find a frontrunner. So when we break down and we look at just those past 5 years, going 2020 to 2024 award season, right? When it comes to who won the DGA Director Feature Film, 4 out of 5 of those winners for those years went on to win Best Picture. The only year that was different was in 2020 when DGA gave the award to Sam Mendes for 1917 and Parasite ended up winning Best Picture, which, I mean, we all knew was crazy, like crazy, but that's what happened. However, at least the Parasite director was nominated for a DGA. Okay, John M. Chu is not nominated for a DGA. So does Wicked still have a chance to win Best Picture? I mean, I've been calling Wicked winning Best Picture since I saw it when it opened, you know, in like, what, November 23rd? So, I mean, that's like kind of like rocking my world right now. Okay, well, then I had to look at, okay, well, what about Ensemble? Because in 4 out of those 5 years, if you won Ensemble, you went on to win Best Picture. Okay, but there is an anomaly in there, and that year is 2021. SAG gave the award to The Trial of the Chicago 7 by the amazing Aaron Sorkin, which it did have a great cast, but who went on to win the Oscar that year? Nomadland with Frances McDermott. Now, that one did not get a SAG Ensemble. Okay, well, did it not get SAG Ensemble because, like, the actors were like, really, the only star in that is Frances, and so she's kind of carrying it, and we gave her actress, so, like, we're not going to give it, you know, Ensemble? Maybe. Okay, but Wicked got the Ensemble nomination, whereas Nomadland didn't, right? But Nomadland director did win their year. So, I mean, my mind is just overwhelmed with stats. And then I had to dig into it a little further, right? The Brutalist didn't get an Ensemble nomination. And they have a lot of good cast members in that. So why did they not get Ensemble? Is that the Screen Actors Guild trying to say, you know what? We cannot respect, Director's Choice or not, a 3.5-hour movie. So because the Brutalist didn't get the SAG Ensemble nomination, are they not going to win the Oscar? If we look solely at those stats, the Brutalist has a better chance of winning Best Picture Oscar and missing SAG Ensemble nomination than Wicked winning Best Picture and John M. Chu missing the DGA nominations. So I don't know where this leaves me. All I'm saying is that everything is up in the air. So what do these stats do for your guys' Best Picture nominations? What does it do for predicting the winner? Let me know in the comments. I'm going to continue to look at all of the films, all the categories through my Oscar-obsessed ADHD point of view. Thanks for joining, and until next time.